welcome. Glad you're here joining us. I am here with Nima Farshid. He is an expert in the Biofield space and the practicing space of that, and he is also the founder of Gaia Healers. So we're very pleased to have him with us today and talk about all of these different types of biofields and the potential behind that medicine. I'm Dallas McClain, by the way, from Biohackers magazine here at the Biohacking Congress in Miami. We're having a great time speaking with some of the best experts across the biohacking and holistic wellness space. So let's get right into it, Nima. First of all, thank you for
Thanks for having
here.
me here. Really great to be here at the Biohacking Congress in Miami, and looking forward to share some amazing information with your audience.
Yes, perfect. We want to dive right into it, and I'd first like to ask about your personal side. We were talking a little bit before this interview of how you've had a story that has helped push you onto the path of what you're doing now and your mission behind Gaia Healers. So can you talk a little bit about your personal mission and how that was formed and is continually being formed to tie into the mission of your company now?
Absolutely. Yes, so this was about 7 years ago when I was running a very successful company. I had an internet marketing company, and it was a multi-million-dollar company at a time. And I was very busy running different meetings, and very, very involved in the business world. And all of a sudden I realized that I'm starting to get heart palpitations, and my heart would start to beat up to 200 beats a minute, and I would feel like very dizzy. I would get lightheaded, and I would have to just sit down somewhere and try to catch my breath, and then see if I can bring myself back to normal. So this happened a few times, and I made an appointment to go see my regular doctor. And I went to his office, and he did an EKG test on me, and he told me that I have an abnormal EKG. And he wanted to rush me to a cardiologist from his office so they could do more testings on me to see exactly what's happening with my heart. So I went to the cardiologist, and they shot me out with dyes, and I was running on a treadmill for them to actually monitor the way that blood was going through my system. And after a few hours of testings, they had a meeting with me, and they told me that the way my palpitations were, that I have to place a pacemaker. And they said that if I don't place a pacemaker, and they had really no guarantees of how much longer my heart would be able to function. So this was a very, very scary moment for me, going just for a checkup and now ending up at a doctor's office that I have to, place a pacemaker. And, I had, before, from my, the lineage of my family and the issues that we have had health-wise, this wasn't a huge surprise to me, because my grandpa passed away when he was 41 years old from a heart attack. Wow. And my father placed a pacemaker when he was 31 years old. And every single male in our family, they have heart issues. There's an electrical issue that they all have different types of issues that they're dealing with. So my mission really was to become a heart surgeon, and I wanted to really study this curse on my family to see how we could bring more balance, and how to understand of what do we have to do to get away from this. Because I lived a very healthy life. At the time I was a semi-professional soccer player. I was a semi-professional wakeboarder. So I didn't have an ounce of fat on my body, and I was very, very active, and that was because I didn't want to deal with any kind of cardiac issues.
Yeah, and we've seen that recently in a lot of sports, right? With the Euros of soccer or football, however you want to call it, the guy just collapsing.
Yep.
And a lot of those people are in the best shape of their lives. It brings up a lot of questions. Please go on.
Exactly. So I wanted to understand, okay, how could I heal myself naturally before I would go under the surgery and do something very invasive to put a pacemaker for myself. So that kind of started my journey, and I realized that didn't matter how much money I had in my bank account or how much money I was making. If I couldn't take a dime with me, then there was really no point to that. So I shut down my company overnight, and I started to set up different plans of going to different wellness events and conferences, kind of like the Biohacking Congress that we're here today. And I really wanted to understand how and what modalities were available to us, and how we could really work with our energy body. So because I've heard from a lot of different healers and Coming from Middle East, my background, there's a lot of like natural ways that people heal themselves. And but there was really no scientific proof. And these are just cases that happen and you hear about. So I wanted to investigate this myself. I wanted to see if there was a way that I could balance my own heart so that I didn't have to deal with palpitations anymore. And the more and more I was doing research, people would tell me that I need to meditate. They would tell me like breath work is really powerful for me to work with that. And all different types of natural practitioners would give me their modalities to do sound healing, Reiki. And of course, I was working with my medical doctors at the time too. And I just wanted to have a holistic understanding of my well-being. And I learned how to meditate. I was doing breath work. I was learning how to like work with my energy centers or the chakras. And but I didn't really have a scientific way that would educate me, that would show me that, okay, now I sat here, I meditated for half an hour. What did it really happen? What did really change in my system? Yeah. Now, I would notice that after a few months, that my palpitations were a lot fewer. I wasn't getting like triggered on a weekly basis. Maybe it was now on like a monthly basis. Mm-hmm. So I knew something is working in my system, but I just didn't know exactly what it is. So I could continue doing that to get to that place that I wanted to get. So I was doing a lot of research, and I'm a very analytical person. I'm a software engineer, and I was pre-med. So for something to be able to shift something, understanding in my head, there has to be a lot of science behind it for me to allow it to make that change in my system. So I was searching for a technology to educate me that if I'm doing breath work, meditation, and all these new age modalities, look, which one was it really helping me? And when I was researching online, I found a YouTube video that there was a shaman in India. That a shaman is a very spiritual person that helps with people spiritually to bring balance to them. And I saw him that he was using the technology. It was a box that people would put their fingers in there, and he would scan them before, and then he would do the spiritual work or energy work on them, and then he would scan them after, and he was able to show them in real time actually what shifted energetically in their system. So that was fascinating to me. That's exactly what I was looking for something that in real time could give me some sort of an analysis. So I contacted this person. I found him in India, and he told me that he actually lives in New Mexico, and he was flying back to the States. And he's like, hey, if you're that interested, I can meet with you on my stop. I have a stop in New York. He's like, come there, and I can show you this technology. We can scan you. And I told him about my story of what's happening. So I flew to New York. I met with him on his stop, and he had this technology with him. He scanned me, and I was just like blown away with all the information that he was able to give me. And then he actually made me a custom meditation music file based on the data that this software was analyzing from my system. So then he gave me that file to meditate with on a daily basis until I would see him again.
Amazing. Wow.
So this just became like such a huge event in my life that I'm like, okay, how do I understand this? How do I work with this? And I had a lot of scientific questions for him. And my background is in microbiology as well. I did a lot of genetic research at University of Florida. So like I have a very analytical mind.
Sure.
So he wasn't able to really answer my questions. He's like, spiritually I can answer your questions, but if you really want to get to the bottom of the science of it, then you should come to Russia and you should meet the inventor of this technology and you can ask all your questions from him. I'm like, okay, how do I do that? And he was like, well, we have a congress that's coming up. They host it once a year in St. Petersburg, Russia. And you're more than welcome to come there. We can get your sponsorship, get your visa, and then you can be there, meet with them. I was like, great, let's do it. So $10,000 later, I was in Russia meeting with Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, the inventor of the BioWell, which is this technology that I was researching.
What's it called? The BioWell?
BioWell.
BioWell.
Kind of like BioWellness.
Okay.
So I ended up in St. Petersburg and at the BiohackingCongress, and I got to meet all the top-level researchers and scientists. Some of them were like Nobel Prize winners that were there, and they were using this technology to prove a lot of work that they were doing in the quantum field. So, after seeing, okay, there's this much science behind this, and this system was created after 25 years of medical research in Russia. So there's a lot of science behind it. There's there's many books that are published about the science. So I had, that's why I went there, because I saw that there's a lot of reputation behind this technology.
Sure.
So I wanted to understand, okay, how do I use this for myself? How is it going to educate me, and how can I bring healing to myself? So after conversating with Dr. Krotkov, he actually educated me on how to use the technology. And I got one of the devices, and I came back to the States. So that became like my morning routine. I'll wake up in the morning, and I would scan myself. We scan all the 10 different fingers, because the end point of acupuncture points and meridian points are at the end of our fingers and our feet. But this system is able to draw enough information from the hands that is like very powerful for us. So I started to look at my scans, look at what energy centers were out of balance, where I had some blockages, and then using the information that using essential oils, using different meditation to work on different energy centers, a lot of breath work, a lot of like water meditations, things like that I would do when I retest myself. I would see that my stress levels like drop dramatically, and just the flow of energy in my system improves. And that was just like a game to me, that it just became a fun game. I would get on social media, and I would do a video of this is my before, and then I would go and do my meditation. I use the oils on the different areas of my body, and I'll come do another scan, and I would show people how within 5 to 10 minutes, I was able to align my energy centers.
So it's a tracking device of measuring the metrics, but it also tells you where to focus your energy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it monitors the flow of energy in the human body, so we can exactly see like how much energy is passing through our cardiovascular system, our liver, our kidneys, our respiratory system.
Energy being like quantum energy, like what
Energy
type
in
of energy?
joules.
In joules.
So
okay.
yeah, this science is based on the science of Kirlian photography. And this was a science that got discovered in Russia in the early 1900s.
Okay.
That there were an electrician couple in Russia that they would go to hospitals, and they would work on like high voltage hospital equipments. And one time they realized that once they put one of their tools on one of these machines, all of a sudden there was a light that appeared around their tools. So they wanted to investigate this to understand like where did this light come from? It's kind of like me grabbing this microphone, putting it on a surface, and all of a sudden you see lights that appears all around this object. So they did a lot of research, and they created these systems which were called the Kirlian photography systems. And what it was just a regular plate that was charged with a positive and a negative input, and then they would put a high voltage electrical impulse right in the center of this plate. Okay. And then whatever object that they would put on the plate, and they would send then that electrical impulse to it, it would show a gas discharge around its perimeters. A visible gas discharge. So this became known as the Kirlian effects, and they created these Kirlian photography systems that like people all around the world were buying these devices. And there's a lot of pictures on Google. If you do a search for Kirlian photography, that's Kirlian. And there's tons of pictures that will come up, like a half an apple, that they've cut an apple in half, put it on one of these plates, and then they send the electrical impulse to it. And we can see the entire energy that surrounds an apple in these images that they have online. And this is for anything, any object that you put on this photography system, it will show a gas discharge. Because we say that everything is made of energy, right? And if you're exciting the energy molecules within the system, for every action, there's a reaction with the laws of physics.
So it's the energy from the voltage of the plate passing through the apple, and then
exciting the photonic molecules within an apple,
okay.
and causing that gas discharge.
Interesting. Okay.
So this was a really cool phenomenon. But what they realized was that when people put their hands on these photography systems and they take a picture of their fingers, people that were healthy, it would show this light uninterrupted around all their fingers. But people that were diagnosed with different types of illnesses, then it would show that gas discharge would be cut off in different sections of their fingers. And this was a big phenomenon. They wanted to understand what that means.
I see.
And that's why they did 25 years of medical research in Russia with a team to be able to understand, for example, if our right middle finger is missing an amount of energy in, for example, the right quadrant, what does it mean? So that's the database that they created over 25 years of research to see, okay, like different issues in the physiological system, how it would influence the pattern of the gas discharge from the different fingers.
Right. Okay.
So now they created this global system, and that's how we could just, purchase a camera device, which is a Curlian photography machine. And then once we scan the 10 fingers, the data gets analyzed to the database that they have, and we are able to analyze the information in real time. Because in the past, people would have to get like their doctorates in biophotonics to be able to understand the patterns of the way that the gas is being discharged. But now, because of the research that they've done, like, we don't need to do that anymore. We can just purchase a camera system, and then by analyzing our data to their database, we get real-time information.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So it's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's beyond cool. So after I was testing myself with this and going through this journey, it was kind of like a game for me.
Sure.
Within 6 months, I realized I don't remember the last time I had a palpitation. So, and this is 7 years ago that I've been mastering my own energy body. I have a full understanding of like when I need to, have a specific diet, or when I should eat, when I shouldn't eat, so I can really understand how my energy is influencing my physiological system. And by having that understanding, that becomes very powerful for us. Because then, it's like we are increasing our own awareness for our own system.
Yeah.
And we are the ultimate system. So if we can fine-tune ourselves, then we can easily understand, okay, based on the emotions that we have, based on the way that we're thinking about life, then we can understand, okay, what system or what energy pattern could be out of alignment. And within a few minutes of working on that system, it could be just visualizing a specific color. Then we can switch ourselves out of those emotions and bring ourselves back into coherence.
Well, to be into being like the most effective human being.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, because I feel like there's this selfish aspect behind biohacking, and there certainly is, but with this, it seems more like you're doing it on yourself in order to help yourself give back more, give back the best of yourself to the community.
Absolutely, because it's oneness, right? So
Right.
if one of us can really empower themselves, then that energy gets distributed to everybody else.
Exactly.
And that's how humanity works.
Wow. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So tell me about the present day, then. You've kind of taken me up to where this device is now and everything. Are you guys using the same type of technology, or is there a different database or an expanding database of the people's reactions and the lights and all of that?
So we are using the same technology. After a few years of doing my research privately for myself, I have a research and development company in Orlando, Florida, which is called Gaia Healers.
Okay.
And because this technology is a scientific instrument, after I mastered it, I actually got invited from the company to become one of their global educators and distributors. So now I work with many different holistic companies, supplement companies, a lot of different manufacturers that are creating holistic products. And what we do is, using this technology, we can test their products to see how they're actually influencing the energy body before somebody is actually consuming their products.
Okay.
So that's one way that we're using this science to help to understand, okay, what are the really powerful products that we can use for biohacking and helping themselves, because as you know, there's a big market and there's a lot of people that are coming out with a lot of different products.
Yeah.
And
It's hard to keep up.
it's hard to keep up. And once we test a lot of these products, we see that a lot of them don't even make any changes into the energetic body.
Yeah.
So now this becomes a way of educating people. And the Biofield system has the camera self itself is for us to monitor the flow of energy in our bodies. But this is a research instrument. So we have different attachments that gets connected to the BioWell, and it expands its capabilities. So we have an accessory which is called a Sputnik that we can connect it to the BioWell, and it looks like an antenna. And that can measure and monitor the influence of energy in our environment. So for example, Dr. Joe Dispenza uses that technology in his retreats. And what they do is that they want to understand, like, before and after meditation, how does the energy in an environment gets fluctuated. So those are some kind of a research that we can do and educate people about how our thoughts, our emotions will actually influence our environment.
Oh yeah.
And this is very powerful for our homes because, that's where we spend most of our time there. And based on our research, it could be like the underlanes of the way that the earth is, the crust of the earth is formed. If like somebody builds a house on one of these points that there is some sort of a disbalance within
tectonic plate.
like a tectonic plate.
Yeah.
Then living on that, if you're building our house right over that area and living in that environment, then we have a lot of hard data that leads into severe health issues for people. So now we're able to use the science to even educate people about their environments. And there's many companies that are using our technology now. And they're actually able to create filters for EMF and different ways so that we can test the coherence of environments. And that's a very, very interesting research right now.
What's interesting about this product, I think, is that it shows you real-time results, which people love in today's world. The instant satisfaction, the instant show me what I click on, which is really nice. But at the same time, it's giving you data to tell you to do things slowly over time to improve those areas where it's showing you those weak links are. So it's not like giving you a quick fix, but it's giving you a quick insight into where you need to fix yourself slowly over time.
Yeah, the device itself doesn't cure, it doesn't diagnose, it doesn't do anything. But what it does is that it gives us very valuable information.
Yeah.
That, if you're doing something, how is it in real time is influencing our energy body.
And talk to me a little bit about the information that it's showing and how specific it can go. Like you talked about the light and the varying, intensity of the light around the fingers and everything like that, and how it ties back to the analytical side of what they already have collected from people that have done this.
Mm-hmm.
Does it get into the specific like labeling of what the light could mean in terms of like a disease or chronic disease, or does it get into just the area of the body? Or can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the light is, based on the research that we have done, we have proved that our cells internally, they communicate photonically. Mm-hmm. So there's a photonic conversation that's happening between all cells at all times. Now what we're doing is that we're kind of like dropping ear and kind of like listening to this communication at the cellular level. So our body allocates more energy or light to areas that wants to heal those sections. And our body, if there's any blockages of energy in our system, then imagine like energy is like water, and our different systems are like flowers. So now if the energy doesn't get to those systems, then it's like a flower that's not getting water. So then it starts to, over time, kind of like lose its functionality and vitality. So now with this system, we get to understand, okay, where is there too much energy, which means that our body is allocating more energy to those areas to heal something. And then where there is missing energy, that there's not energy getting to those areas. So the areas that are missing, then, there's a lot of different modalities, a lot of different practitioners use different ways to add energy into the system.
Okay.
So we could have, like, for example, somebody's like respiratory system that the energy is low. Mm-hmm. Then a practitioner that has maybe understands the right essential oils or something, they can maybe have a person smell those oils or rub it on that area, and that's how they can influence or add energy into the system. Okay. But in some cases, somebody may have a very overactive energy within a specific area. Mm-hmm. So for example, like, we just got over a lot of respiratory issues. And a lot of scans that we do, it shows that there's a lot of energy that's around the respiratory system for people. So now this gives us a heads up that if we see that there's a lot of energy in an area, then we want to ask ourselves why. And then when we're scanning ourselves like multiple times, and once we see these repetitions in the energy patterns that are stuck in the energy body, then those are, based on science, what we've proved is that those are the systems that get manifested into the physiological. So with the information that we're picking up, usually it takes about 6 months to a year. If somebody doesn't change anything about their habits, about their lifestyle, and they continue moving forward the same way, then it could turn into some physiological misbalances within the system within 6 months to a year. Okay. So that's how we use the information. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're going on there about with the people and the data and how you basically formulate it into scanning them to get the full picture of where they're lacking their energy or where they have too much energy, and then using that to, based on the data that you've collected before, right?
Exactly.
The database to best predict where they need to focus their efforts to get the right levels of energy in.
Exactly. So if I scan somebody and for example, I see their respiratory system is very high in energy,
Yeah.
then we will make him some some natural modalities, educate him in some natural ways that they can work with their energy body.
Right.
And a lot of things could be emotions or unresolved emotions or things that people hold on to. So then by educating them about, like where they need to focus on, then for example, they go and for a week, they work on those emotions. They work, maybe there's some fruits or vitamins or something that we recommend to them to use. And then they come back to us after a week. And then we can scan them again.
Yeah.
Now, if the person was doing what they were supposed to do and they really work on their system, then we should see more balanced energy after they come back to us.
Right.
And that's how we can keep tag of them. That, okay, if you've done these kind of natural modalities, let's see how it's influenced your system. If it's a positive influence, then we continue going that route. But if you see that there's not much being changed, then we have, there's like a stress scan that we can use the system to only scan the 2 fingers of our ring fingers because they're connected to our nervous system and our endocrine system.
Okay.
And then we can see, okay, like what are the future modalities or products, natural products that this person could benefit from.
Right. And the thing is, like with biohacking too, there's kind of 2 faucets. There's the ones that you're taking these types of modalities to improve your performance and make yourself better than average, right? Better than healthy, like super athlete. And then there's the side that gets you back to a clean slate and gets the toxins out of your body and gives you a good, healthy baseline to start from.
Exactly.
So people that maybe use this scanning device, and if they get caught up in the modality of taking the pills or the supplements or doing the habits or experiencing the technologies that just focus on a superficial increasing 1% better level, maybe they'll find themselves at the next scan not necessarily having that improvement of energy as much as like they would if they would like follow different modalities that would like get them out of a toxic room, for example, with mold or something, or,
Exactly.
or get the baseline set. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Because, we need to look at health and wellness from a holistic view.
Sure.
Because we live in a 3-dimensional world, and our wellness, we have our physical body, our mental body, and our energy body.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to bring healing to ourselves, we need to really, influence that within the different dimensions.
Definitely.
And usually the mental body is the most important body that a lot of issues that we see that are appearing in the biofield or have to do with the wrong conditionings of the way that person was brought up, the issues that they had, as they were, going through life, and whatever that issues they had or any misunderstanding or wrong understandings of different situations in life,
Yes.
can trigger those responses throughout the life of that person every time that they're coming in contact or they're being reminded of that situation. And these are what leads to really, really serious issues in life.
Of course.
So this device will give us that information to understand what are the emotions that are the underlying cause of something that turns into such a huge misbalance into our physiological system. So then just by releasing the emotions and understanding, okay, I need to change my perception on life,
Right.
then that by itself is the most powerful way that we can go about healing instead of waiting until we have symptoms and having to take invasive measures.
Most definitely. So talk to me a little bit about how you're using the device in the present day to help tie into your mission of what you spoke about before, and where you guys see the terms of the device being used and where you'd like to help it gain more traction.
Absolutely. So I'm one of the most active researchers in the field with the company right now, and I'm actively creating new technologies with the company to even advance the device that we have right now.
Okay.
So throughout my journey, I had to, as you can tell, to understand all these different ways that we can influence the body. There's a lot of education involved, and we have to learn how to work with different energy centers, how to learn with deal with emotions. So I went back to school and I'm finishing my PhD right now in natural medicine. So all the knowledge that I've gained through my education and through my research, I have put it into a community, into a private app right now, and that's our education center. So my goal was for other practitioners, other people that are coming on board that want to go through this journey. Like I didn't want them to go back and having to research and go and find the papers and articles and the scientific research behind all the work that has been already done. So I've provided everything within a platform. It's an educational platform that is called Gaia Healers. And we have over 1,400 practitioners around the world right now. And our goal is to bring this knowledge all around the world, to every family, to every city, so that we can have a way of being preventative and being on top of our energetic body and on top of our health and emotions.
Increasing awareness.
Increasing awareness. That's, that can't be said more simple than that.
Yeah. And so with this device and your company, Gaia Healers, do you guys focus mostly on like not the diagnostic, I don't want to say diagnostic part of it, but you said the information, you have this information database and you're working with practitioners, but are you also working with different modalities in terms of like customers, but also businesses that want to work with you guys after the scan gets done and you guys can test them? You were talking about that earlier, you're being a regulatory body in a sense of the different biohacking avenues and products and brands that people can use and seeing in real time if they're effective or not.
Yeah, so we are partners with a few of the different biohacking communities that they do a lot of events.
Yeah.
And they use this technology, and we take our practitioners to many different events. I do a lot of events with Greg Braden, with Bruce Lipton.
Okay.
And when we go to these events, we educate people about their energy body. And we have a lot of different types of practitioners that work with us, that, we have a lot of sound healers, Reiki practitioners, medical doctors, nurses, all different types of practitioners that are looking more to be integrative, to, look past just looking at one dimension of health. So for that reason, on a daily basis, I'm doing research with all different types of wellness centers or researchers. So, we have tons of data on how to help people that are newly setting up these businesses on holistic realms, to really educate them to do it in a very successful and powerful way.
I love it. And is there like a commonality that you see based on the average of when people get scanned where they need to work on most that you've noticed, like a trend, at least in like maybe the present day?
So depending on, that's a very interesting question actually, because we go to a lot of different cities. We just got back from London doing an event there. And different people that we scan in different environments, they usually have the same type of energy patterns or the energy issues. And this could be related to the environment, the type of food that they're eating. But one of the major issues that we're seeing in people's biofields right now is accumulation of toxins. Because, like even for our cars, we drive a few hundred miles and we go do an oil change to refresh the system. But for ourselves, we just keep going and going and going without really doing much.
Right.
So now all of these wrong emotions, like processed food, like all different ways that, that we're not in coherence with the way that we're supposed to be, all of these turn into toxins in our system. So we have to come up with a way on a regular basis to detox and to get the toxins out of our system so that we can really be that full powerhouse and be able to, live life with our full potentiality.
I completely agree. In order for the cell to be effective and efficient, you have to get as much toxins out as you can and start from a clean slate.
Absolutely.
So definitely. Nima, can you talk also about pulling like-minded individuals in this space together and why it's important to have that community, and segueing into the conference that is coming up?
Absolutely. So for me, when I was going through this journey, it was very hard, and I had to spend a lot of money to go through it. And once I saw that how powerful this is and how every human should have access to this and be able to use this technology and this science, I wanted to do anything possible to make this more affordable and more accessible for our practitioners, especially here in the States. Because when we go to the East, you go to Russia, you go to India, these are the sciences that a lot of people have been using in the past, and they're very familiar with it.
Right.
But here in the States, it seems like, it's something new that's coming around. So my goal and my vision was to be able to become so powerful in this company that I could be a person that could like change the direction of the way that we're doing the research, and to actually have a say in where we should have our events and what populations we should be communicating with. So now, blissfully, I'm at that position, and Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, the inventor of BioWorld, is a very, very good friend of mine. He comes and stays with me in my house, and we have like amazing, amazing conversations of how to further this science and how to help humanity.
Great.
So now, I actually, in the last event that he came to Orlando, Florida, I had a conversation with him, because that first event that I went to in Russia, the Congress that they had, and they hosted like once a year there, that was such a life-changing experience for me.
Right.
Because I had access in one room to all top scientists, all top researchers, and these are people that would they're very down to earth, they're very humble, and like their mission is there just to share information with us and to help humanity to move towards the right direction. So by having conversations with these doctors and just being able to absorb all of their knowledge, that all the work that they've done in the last 30 to 40 years, they were just very openly communicating with me and giving me ideas of how to go about my own healing. So that was a very life-changing moment for me in that Congress there. And that's why I talked to Dr. Korotkov to allow me to host the first BioWorld or Biofield Congress in the United States. And that's coming up in November in Orlando, Florida. I have invited all the top researchers from all around the world to come to Orlando so that they can share this technology and this science with all of you amazing people.
And what's the name of the conference?
The conference is a BioWell Congress, and it's being held at the Orlando Hilton. It's November 10th to 12th. And we're going to be talking about remote healing. We're going to be talking about how to align the chakras within a few minutes. We're going to be talking about how to filter EMF in our environment so that we can have a more healing environment that we live in. And there's tons of opportunities from different acupuncturists, doctors that have created new modalities that works with this technology, from billion-dollar holistic companies like LifeWave, that they will be there at this Congress to showcase how they have done research using this technology to create a billion-dollar company. So it's going to be a very amazing event, and anybody that is interested in biohacking or interested in the holistic field, I feel like that would be the one important event for them to attend.
Definitely. I hope everyone goes and checks that out, and we'd love to see you guys there. I'm going to do my best to be there. I live in Orlando, so I don't have a lot of excuses.
Yeah, I'd love to have you there.
Well, I've had a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you.
This whole interview has been great. It's been very enlightening, and I definitely want to learn more about the technology. So, Nima, thank you again for the time, and we'll continue seeing everybody at the Biohacking Congress. Nima, please share with everyone how they can find out more about Gaia Healers and the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, and thank you guys for your attention. If you're interested in following me, you can find me on the Instagram at Gaia, Gaia .healers, and my personal Instagram account is Nima, and like Nancy, IMA .Farshid, FARSHID, and that's usually a very good place to reach out to me, and then I can introduce you guys to my private platform, and which is at lightworkersapp.com, and that's a way that they can actually join our community for free, and join thousands of holistic practitioners that are having these conversations about holistic feeling, Biofield, and we host bi-weekly meetings on there. I'll be on the app myself, and I answer any questions to anybody that has in the field.
Amazing. I love it. This is Dallas and Nima signing off, and we'll see you guys at the Congress.